Hello, good morning.
Roll it again. Roll the song again.
I
Do the song.
I can't.
Song is good.
I think once is good.
Love song.
Great song.
So good the song.
Love the song.
Hi.
Moving on.
Good morning, BBs. It's too early.
It sure is.
Welcome to the first, best, and only morning show in existence. I'm Anthony Carboni.
And I'm Saige Ryan.
Got a lot for you today. We're going to be talking about the AI that's destroying all the other AIs, and it's the war of the robots is here.
I guess.
We're going to be talking about Superman. You know, I always love to talk about Superman. And also, who's stealing all those drugs? That's the big question. Who's stealing all those drugs? That's what people want to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
They want to know. They say, who's stealing all the drugs? Saige?
Yes.
How was your weekend?
Oh, yeah, it was the weekend. It was great.
Yeah?
My schedule has been very strange lately. We're doing a lot of filming on the weekends.
Yeah.
So I have lost track of what day of the week things are. But it was great. We filmed 2 videos this weekend. And let me just tell you, pretty funny.
So be sure to subscribe over on Pixel Circus if you're watching this on, even if you're not watching this on YouTube, you still have the ability to go to YouTube and subscribe to Pixel Circus. Like anyone can do it. You don't need like a license or anything.
Free. How was your weekend?
It was good. It was good. You know, we're all still on fire. Yeah. So, but it's less and less fire every day.
It's been raining in LA.
It's been raining, which has been great.
For the fire, not great for the potential of mudslides.
Right. Listen, the mudslides are going to take out the fire.
Yeah.
And then we're going to use small nuclear weapons to take out the mudslides.
It's like when they have to call Godzilla to fight another kaiju.
That's right. Let them fight is what they say.
Yeah.
But on Saturday, it's, you know, we're coming up on Chinese New Year. So there was a street fair here in the neighborhood. A bunch of us went, and there was a dude at the street fair who was selling little to-go subs with Wagyu beef.
Whoa.
Real Wagyu, like he had like the cow certificate. You know how they have a cow certificate?
Yeah.
And I was like, dang, a Wagyu beef sub. Well, I'm going to take one to go.
Yeah.
And so I did. And I brought it home, and Dagger just sat and stared and stared and stared. I gave him the tiniest little bit of Wagyu beef.
Yes.
He was losing his shit for an hour and a half.
In what capacity?
He just stared the hardest at me afterwards, like, why have you been keeping this from me?
I can't believe there's something this delicious.
Is this what you're eating all the time? This is what you're eating all the time?
Yeah.
You motherfucker.
That's why he's being such a brat this morning.
That really is.
He's still mad.
After the sub was gone, he sat and stared at me for another hour. He's like, are you sure you're not hiding any more of that? Are you sure you're not hiding any more of that?
Messed up, Anthony.
And then I put his food out, and he stared at me so angrily.
How dare you?
Like more than I've ever seen. Like I tried to give him a treat afterwards, and he was like, he sniffed it, and he was like, huh. He did the little, huh. He was just like, where is it?
It's not.
Where are you keeping it?
Now that I know.
Yeah.
You know, now that I've had.
I feel like this is why, listen to me very carefully. If you've had a mediocre life, keep riding it out.
Yeah.
Do not have even a moment of joy. Do not even understand for a second what you're missing, is what I would say.
Okay.
Because then it'll just make it 20 times worse. That's what I've learned from Dagger.
Okay.
What I've learned from Dagger is don't think about anything better that's out there. Head in the sand. Learn nothing. Know nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
C+ student all the way through life is what I say.
Yeah. But sometimes you try things and you go, oh, I'm not missing anything. That's nice. Like, Abria made me try caviar. I think Elise is in the chat. She was there to witness this.
I remember when this happened.
Disgusting. The worst thing I've ever had in my life.
Yeah. It's
Probably
not good.
One of the worst tastes I've ever experienced.
The caviar is
and
one of
then
those.
I went, I'm all good. I actually, you know what? I'm fine that I grew up poor now.
Yeah.
I fixed it.
It's actually better.
It was actually fine.
It's actually better because now I don't have to pretend like I like this.
Yeah. Can you imagine if I was a rich person and I had to pretend that I liked caviar?
Oh.
Frequently?
Oh.
Oh.
How lovely.
That is the worst texture I have ever experienced. And now listen, I may or may not be autistic. Jury's still out.
Yeah, listen.
Guys,
it's impossible to know.
Jury's out.
Honestly, society would be much better if we could figure out a way to tell if people had autism.
But that texture made me feel like I needed a whole new mouth.
Yeah, I can't see you liking that.
I also don't eat fish even.
Yeah.
So like I was 5 steps removed from anybody who was ready to handle that.
You have to try it. But this is what I'm telling you. If you hadn't tried it, that would have been one less bad experience that you had in your life.
True. That's what happens when you try new things.
That's what happens. And that's why we must all learn from Dagger.
Yeah.
Mediocrity throughout entirety. Can somebody give me that in Latin?
548865 said, I'm poor and we can still buy caviar in Sweden. Well, listen.
Hey, we're not talking about civilized countries.
Yeah.
We're talking about America.
Yeah. Listen, the concern of the poor here is the furthest thing from buying caviar.
Yeah.
They also can't afford like basic vegetables at the grocery store because America.
Oh.
So,
I got sick once and now I'm poor forever.
Yeah.
I said it sarcastically, but it's true.
It's also the other way around.
I said it sarcastically, but it's true for me.
Yeah.
Me personally.
And then the other way around also is I was poor, so now I'm sick forever. Both happen in America, actually. It happens in both directions.
Hey, but at least we're losing. Big news in the tech world. The biggest news to come in a very long time, I think, happened right after our president announced a $500 billion AI initiative. The government's going to invest $500 billion in AI.
Which, as a reminder, is just after he rolled back all of the protections for what goes in your food and water.
Yeah.
So,
because now we have all this extra money because we're not looking at what's going on in the food and water.
And caps on drug prices.
So
for like medical necessities. So just as a reminder, the money taken away from things going in your water, medical necessities, all that.
$500 billion, $500 billion for an AI initiative that, when you look it over, really only benefits OpenAI, a privately owned company. But right after they announced it, a firm in China, this is a technology researching offshoot of a hedge fund in China, said, oh, hey, y'all, we got an AI. We made it in 2 months for $6 million. And we're giving it to everyone for free, and it's just as good as yours. Please enjoy. It's called DeepSeek. And
every time that you say it, all I hear is Mr. Meeseeks.
Yeah, it's called Mr. Meeseeks. And look at me is what it says. It basically, if you look at all of the AI nerdlingers on Reddit, and what they're saying about this AI, they're like, well, it's not quite as good as ChatGPT 4o Pro, which is the one that you have to pay like $100.
Yeah.
Or the OpenAI 01 Pro. It's not quite as good. It's almost as good. But it's open source. You can run it locally. It's available to everyone.
95% less cost.
You can run it on
5%.
Runs it on cheaper hardware, which means it runs it on hardware that takes less energy. And it is available. If you don't know how these AI models work, usually you take one of the giant AI models and you use it to train your smaller AI model.
Yeah.
And then you can release your smaller AI model. Now, the problem with that is these large AI models, they cost money to use.
Yeah.
So if you're going to train a smaller AI model, it costs you a lot of money because you've got to rent time with one of these large. Not anymore.
No. You can have this one for free.
You can just have
it. To be clear, OpenAI got its name by saying, we want this to be that, right?
Yeah.
The whole initial mission that they claimed to have for OpenAI was that it was going to be open source, that it was going to be something anyone could use.
Yep.
And then they have continued to move in the direction of profit models.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
Whoops.
So whoops?
Basically what happened was, and when there was a huge interview, obviously there have been multiple interviews with the team behind this AI, behind DeepSeek. And when they were asked, like, why open source it? Why do this? You know, obviously they are the offshoot of a hedge fund company.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this hedge fund was using predictive models to sort of try to game the stock market, as hedge funds do.
Yeah.
But then one of their researchers was like, hey, I can take this stuff and I can try to make artificial general AI, like the stuff that everybody's trying to make.
Right.
And they said, okay, go ahead and do it. And when asked why, they were like, oh, because there's no money to be made off of it. There's no way to make money off of it. Like this sort of they were like, this sort of large language model, this sort of AI that we're making, there's not really like, the return on investment is not going to be huge.
Yeah.
So
and
you
the
might as well.
investment isn't that huge.
Yeah. So you might as well just open it up to everyone because maybe people will make technologies with it that can make money.
Yeah.
Which is the wildest statement. And they followed it up by saying, we have to imagine that like companies like OpenAI and these sort of things are like rushing to do it just because they want to do it. They know that it's not going to make a lot of money, right?
You have so many people sitting in a boardroom at OpenAI today being like, why would they say that?
Why would they say that?
Why would they say that? It's where we can totally make money.
Why would they say that? Why would they ruin it for everyone?
Well, don't tell people that.
We already know. We've been knowing. We've known for a long time.
Come on.
The effect that this has had as of this morning on everything. Because, everybody has pinned their profits over the next couple years to AI.
Yes.
Apple just moved basically their in-house wolf. This is like, this woman is put on failing products and turns them around. That's what she does. Mm-hmm. They moved her over to the Syrian AI team because they were like, you fucking figure this out because our AI just keeps getting dumber. How does it keep getting dumber? Because this is what it is. Everybody, we were just talking on Monday about how everyone is pushing this right now. This has done a number on tech stocks in America. NVIDIA's stock fell 18%. 18%. After this announcement. I love this. That's almost 20%. According to the fake made up money.
Yes.
The market value of NVIDIA, which remember, that's not money.
Yes.
We keep confusing that with money.
Hypothetical money.
It's hypothetical money. That's $500 billion of market value. That's the entire government project.
Yep.
We lost it in a day. In a day.
In a day. Because one team of people was like, oh, hey, we could do that too.
Yeah. And it should be for everyone because it's not that useful.
Because how many people then turn around and go, wait a minute, why am I paying for this?
Mm-hmm.
Listen.
Remember, they've been giving ChatGPT away, not the good one. They've been giving the okay one away, hoping that you will use it. Every time you use ChatGPT instead of Google, it costs these chuckle fucks so much money. Because remember, it's running on a fucking render farm. You could make 13 Star Wars movies with what it costs to fucking ask OpenAI where the best coffee shop is near you.
Yeah.
Just put it into Google, you chuckle fucks.
I mean, we talked about this on Friday. We were just talking about how people have lost track of their ability to Google.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gone in two directions. We have people that are going, well, I'm going to use AI for everything, even though this is an incredibly simplistic question that is, I know, and I have my lived experience is that Google can answer this.
It's for the people that you see in comment sections going, please summarize.
Yes.
Please summarize.
And then the second one is people who act like there's nowhere to find the answer. They just go,
where did we find the answer to anything before AI?
People are just literally out here in comment sections being like, well, but where would I find a coffee shop?
Before AI, I had to scream the question out my window and hope that some Dickensian child walking by would let me know. So if I threw open the sash with such a clatter and I looked out onto the street and I said, you there, boy, what day is it? And there was no boy there to tell me why, sir, it's Christmas Day. How would I know? How would I know?
I guess AI?
That's what we use AI for.
I guess you go to AI then.
That's what we use AI for. So I love this. I love this for 100 million reasons. I love the toppling of the stock market anytime it happens. I'm sorry, America.
Yeah.
Sorry, America. We need to divest our well-being from the fucking stock market.
I think in addition to, I think the timing is really significant. It is obviously January 2025. We are 7 days after the inauguration. And I think it is important that other countries make Donald Trump look like an absolute idiot at every turn. I think it's incredibly significant. People are talking about like a little bit of awareness for the first time. And I got a very important video on my TikTok feed this week that was like, hey, just as a reminder, if you're looking at your TikTok feed and you're feeling like, holy shit, I think people are experiencing class consciousness. They're not.
They're not.
And I think that's a really important thing to notice is that like, if you are somebody who is experiencing it, you are going to inherently be served other people that are, but you have to look at the people that voted and didn't vote. You have to look at, there were more people that abstained from voting, legal people able to vote this year, or this past election cycle, than that voted for Donald Trump. Like, so we have to acknowledge that we are not experiencing that.
Yeah.
We have to acknowledge that people are scared and confused and that he is making weird fucking lie promises and he has to be proven wrong at every turn. Gonna be uncomfortable. Like, American people are going to suffer for it at the end of the day. It is going to be something that affects your conveniences and well-being for a time in order to show that his bullshit doesn't work.
Yeah. AI.
What up?
If AI closes at the end of the day today.
That was relevant to AI.
It was relevant. I'm just trying to pull it back. I couldn't think of a segue. That's all. I couldn't think of a clean segue.
AI.
AI. If the market drops this far, it will be the largest value drop in US stock market history. Think about that.
Damn.
Think about that. Now, that doesn't mean it's a crash because the valuation of the stock market is incredibly inflated.
Yeah.
But it is a huge devaluation. And the reason why I said like, hey, sorry, I'm sorry if the market crashes is because we've unfortunately, all of us have been forced to hitch our wagon to the stock market.
Yes.
It's a bummer. If you have a retirement account, you don't have a retirement account that's just money sitting collecting interest.
Oh, of course not.
You have like a 401k that is invested in the stock market.
Yeah.
And if the stock market does poorly, you don't get to retire.
Yeah.
You got to show up to work every day and make shareholder value, right? So this is a big deal. This is also a big deal for the tech market, which is in the midst of constantly massive layoffs.
Yes.
Constantly massive restructurings right now. But they're looking at ARM losing 7% potentially, Google losing 4% of their market value, Meta losing 2% of their market value, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's enough to make the shitheads on top go, better fire 15,000 people.
Yeah.
Better fire, because that's the quickest way to show the shareholders that we're going to right this wrong, the wrong of the invisible money. In the meantime, I think it's important to understand that, like, when we say AI is useless, because it's mostly useless, but that doesn't mean there aren't things that AI is good for. Having a decent AI model that's open sourced will allow the people doing real work with AI and real research to do better things with that research. Up until this was released, there was this feeling that OpenAI was 100 miles ahead of everybody and no one was going to catch up. They had the secret sauce. Nobody was going to be able to do anything to catch up with them. Google can't do it. Meta can't do it, right? This changes everything, particularly, like, I know somebody who works in academia and research, right? And was looking through, like, had to scan a shitty copy of a book in Middle English. Yeah. Right? That was like hard to, like, you just couldn't see. It was degraded and destroyed. Was able to use AI to scan it and translate it.
Yes.
Decently.
Yes.
That kind of stuff is good. in my production workflow, if I want to rotoscope somebody, I have a filter that uses tons and tons of rotoscoping information from the past to help me cleanly rotoscope people.
Yes.
That sort of stuff is good.
Yes. The thing I always talk about is people are able to do things like I can't afford legal help. I cannot afford the resource that potentially this can help provide, at least put a Band-Aid on it. Can fill in a little bit.
You're a large language model. Can you take this legal document that I don't understand and put it into, a standard adult's reading comprehension? So even if you're not 100% right, I can at least sort of understand what's going on.
Some things to look out for in it.
Yeah, like LLMs on their own are the least interesting, least good part of AI. But they're the part that people are trying to market the most, right? The LLM thing, it's like, don't worry. ChatGPT is going to write that resume for you. ChatGPT is going to write that video for you.
Yeah.
It's going to give that presentation. You're going to be able to do everything with it. Don't worry. No.
All garbage.
No.
What it's making you is garbage because aggregate of all of the information makes the blandest version of it.
Mm-hmm. And it
the
can't,
most common.
And it can't really just, we've talked this before, it can't really do novel or new things.
No.
That's not what it does. But there has been, over the last couple years, so many people, so many firms slashing jobs, getting rid of human beings, saying AI is going to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
We've seen it there's so many sites that I used to go to for just information that you read them now and you're like, oh, fuck, this was written by an AI.
Yep.
There's nothing, I can't take anything away from this. It was written by an AI.
Yeah.
And so many sites have been trying to do that. So many places have been trying to replace people with AI, and it's not working, but it's this promise. And the promise was built on this magical product created by these magical people.
Yeah.
Here in the good old US of A.
Yeah.
It was all money getting pumped right back into the United States economy, so it can't be bad. Oops,
it was bad.
Oops, now they don't get to hoard that money.
Yeah.
People were asking the live studio audience, when are they going to call this a national security threat and get rid of it? Here's the beauty of something that's open source versus something like TikTok. You can't get rid of it once it's out there.
Yes.
You can't really get rid of it.
Because it's open source, so as much as sure, it was founded and created in China, once somebody else builds something on it in America, it's not the same product.
Sure. Plus, even if they try to get rid of things that are written based on it or try to get rid of every fucking server that it's on, people are downloading this. They have it. They have it.
Yeah.
Some crazy bro on r/data hoarders right now is like, could I download all 600 gigabytes of this huge model?
Easy.
Could I find like space on my Plex server?
Yeah.
Where I keep old episodes of Aqua Teen Hunger Force?
Yeah.
Is there room there to put the AI model?
Guys, 600 gigs? That is one episode of a tabletop role-playing game that I store worth of footage. I'm not joking. That's one video we make for you.
They've essentially just said, this is not for money. And you're going to get a lot of, I'm sure by the end of the day, conspiracy theorists that are like, oh, they're doing it to destabilize the US economy. Hey, and they were able to do it so easily. Number one, they're not. And number two, they were able to do it so easily because you grifters, you hucksters, put it all into one basket.
Would you say we were stable before that then?
You really put it all into one basket? Come on. Not one basket. Everybody knows about the single basket.
And our government is going to freak out and they are going to fearmonger about it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Especially because they're going to look at this and go, wait a minute, we destabilize other people's economies. Other people don't do that to us.
Oh, especially after our golden god got up there yesterday and was like, $500 billion, it's going to be amazing. America's going to be the top of AI. You got fucking took, dude. You got fucking took.
I love how stupid. Right.
Not even two baskets.
Nope.
You tech idiots. Not even two baskets.
No.
Buffoons. Maroons, I say. Nincompoops. But this is not the big AI news that I'm here for today, Saige.
Okay.
Another world destabilizing AI has had its source code found and released, Saige.
Okay.
The Eliza chatbot from the early 1980s. We all know the Eliza chatbot.
Yes.
We've all talked to versions of the Eliza chatbot.
Absolutely.
But here's the thing. The Eliza chatbot was like, you'd go on to this text chat, and you'd be like, how are you doing today? I'm fine. How are you? Oh, I'm not that great. Tell me about not that great.
Yeah. And you'd be like, whoa.
Whoa. I'd love to tell you about not that great.
Oh my God. This is magic.
Well, I mean, I'm having kind of a bad day. Tell me about kind of having a bad day. It's listening to me.
Great.
What? This was the beginning of chatbots, and like, it's based on something called Markov chains. Markov chains are like, it looks at the structure of your sentence and goes, what is the relevant, there it is.
Yeah.
And is it phrased like a question or an answer? Okay, got it. But Eliza was lost. Everything that we've been using that was like Eliza, those like chatbots that made it to everybody's computers in the 80s and 90s, that wasn't the real Eliza. The real Eliza has been gone.
It's been an imposter?
Couldn't find it. They were recreations. And so there is a team called Eliza Archaeology. This was a project of scholars, artists, and programmers that got together to save Eliza and the history of Eliza. Because Eliza starts in like 1965.
Yeah.
Wild. Eliza was on punch cards and shit, dog. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
So now the code is available. Anybody can download Eliza. You can have Eliza and DeepSeek talking to each other on your Plex server if you want.
Yeah.
What a wonderful time to be alive. And if you've never tried Eliza, if you go to the Eliza Archaeology Project right now, they have a live Eliza bot that's up that you can talk to.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's fun.
We could ask Eliza what Eliza thinks.
The AI that I used as a kid, as a teen on the internet was Cleverbot.
Yes.
Cleverbot was mine.
Cleverbot was definitely an offshoot of Eliza.
I was obsessed. I thought it was the coolest thing in the fucking world. I thought it was going to change the world. I was telling everybody, have you seen this shit? You can talk to it and it talks back to you. It remembers things I said a minute ago, kind of, sometimes.
Yeah, a bit, in a way.
And then inevitably it turns very racist. Because it does learn from everybody talking to it.
Yes.
And you had a bunch of shitbags on the internet saying racist things to it.
That's one thing that Eliza doesn't do. Eliza, I promise you, Eliza will never learn. How do you do? Please tell me your problem. Eliza, I'm worried about the collapse of tech stocks because of China's DeepSeek AI project. Is it because you are worried about the collapse of tech stocks because of China's DeepSeek AI project that you came to me? Yes. Yes. You're such a good listener.
Thank you, Eliza. That's really great.
You seem quite positive.
In all caps.
Eliza.
Pretty hot there.
Eliza rules.
Yeah.
So go try Eliza, and I think you'll find that there's not as much of a difference between Eliza and ChatGPT as you'd want there to be.
No, it feels kind of same. Well, hey, you brought up a lot of things that are relevant to this next story. TikTok, tech billionaires, China, the
huge.
Obviously, where we're in right now is a very complicated place with TikTok. If you are in the US, you actually still don't have TikTok back in your app store, as well as CapCut. And essentially right now, we're in this like, nobody wants to move because sure, he says he's not going to enforce this ban, but if he did, it would be to the tune of $145 billion a day or something like that. So nobody really wants to risk that, especially Apple. But
sure,
it is available again. However, it is on currently a 90-day extension, which is supposed to give time for potentially an American company to purchase TikTok.
This is such a standoff to stalemate situation. And the only thing that happens is America looks stupid.
So
the only way this can end is with America looking stupid one way or the other.
yes.
And it depends on whether we want to be obstinately stupid and remove TikTok while the rest of the world uses it and look like the nation that censors media.
Yes.
Or whether we want to look stupid for the government almost unanimously voting to get rid of this thing and then going, but we were just joshing.
Yeah. Because that's
we were goofing.
It will look stupid. I think it will look incredibly stupid to ban TikTok again. To ban it, unban it, ban it again is so embarrassing.
So embarrassing.
I'm not saying it can't happen because we do have the most embarrassing government on the fucking planet right now. But unsurprisingly, this is all in the interest of American tech billionaires, as everything that our current administration does is. So when asked if Donald Trump would entertain Elon Musk potentially buying TikTok, he said, well, sure. I'd also be very interested in Larry Ellis buying it.
Hey, Donald Trump, why did the name Larry Ellison randomly pop into your head? Why did you, out of all the people, why did Larry Ellison, did Larry Ellison come over to the White House and call you a good boy? Did Larry Ellison, because why Larry Ellison?
So Larry Ellison owns Oracle. Oracle is based in Texas in the US. And in all of the fear that you have heard about your data, Oracle is actually who is holding your data from TikTok. Oracle hosts the servers that maintain the cloud for TikTok and almost everything else. He is a gigantic and stealthier tech billionaire. It's not one of the tech billionaires that when you think of a billionaire, you immediately name because he isn't loud on Twitter, basically. That's kind of the only difference. One of the big concerns that I'm seeing, hey, this is like conspiracy that is so useless on TikTok. Everybody shut the fuck up about Facebook owning TikTok. That's not how this works. Meta did not stealthily buy TikTok. And I cannot tell you the amount of like people a little older than me that I have spoken to that are like, did you hear that Meta secretly bought TikTok? Guys, this is not a useful conspiracy theory.
It's a stupid one.
It's a stupid one that is distracting you from the actual reality. So Meta did not stealthily buy TikTok. Currently, actually, Meta has been teetering on the edge of like being in trouble with the government inherently and with antitrust for owning Facebook and Instagram. And there has been multiple considerations of whether or not Meta would have to sell Instagram because of the tech monopoly that they hold over social media. So even it would take a long time for us to restructure the antitrust that we hold in America to allow Mark Zuckerberg to buy TikTok.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not saying it can't happen,
and it's
but
not
it can't
even
happen right now.
And it's not even just, it's not even like antitrust. Like it's not because, listen, the government, like, yes, there's antitrust stuff that's going to go into it, but regardless of whether something is a monopoly or not, two gigantic companies have to go through so much SEC garbage just to be like, we're bidding on this company. We have the money to bid on this company.
Yeah.
Not only do we have the money to bid on this company, but we have the money to bid on this company in a way that won't destabilize our company and ruin jobs for this many people. We won't default on this. There's like a lot of stuff that's going on with SEC filings where it's also like, hey, are you even allowed to do this? Where, you know, what are your holdings? So what countries are your holdings in? Can you mix these holdings? You can't secretly buy TikTok.
No. And it's a thing where, again, when it comes to monopolies, though we are heading in a direction for a government that does not care about monopolies, they would have to disband multiple branches of government that do still care about that before they could possibly get that through. So I wouldn't be concerned right now about Mark Zuckerberg. And I would be more concerned about the tech billionaires that are in Donald Trump's pocket that are actually most likely to buy TikTok if the sale goes through. So Larry Ellison is the evil billionaire that purchased Paramount Pictures, right?
Yeah.
I think he purchased Paramount last year for his son.
Yeah.
I believe.
Bought his kid a movie studio.
Yeah.
Larry Ellison, he also they also own Annapurna. They own a lot of stuff. The Ellisons own a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
the Oracle database system and Oracle servers built basically computing the way we know it today. They own a lot of patents. They own a lot of technology. Somebody in the live studio audience said something something that's very true. He comes from a time when billionaires were not public.
Yes.
That's the only reason younger people may not be as aware of Larry Ellison.
Yeah.
Larry Ellison's a bad dude.
Yeah.
Larry Ellison's a bad dude, but he's one of these old school bad dudes. He's like the difference if it was a James Bond villain.
Yeah.
It's like the difference between the dude that like straps James Bond to a table and fires a laser at his crotch and is like, I'm going to tell you my plans.
Yeah.
And fucking Spectre.
Yeah.
And fucking Spectre.
Yeah.
Larry Ellison is part of Spectre.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say it's Palpatine or Thrawn.
Right.
Right? So it's like, sure, you've heard of Palpatine, but Thrawn will fuck you up, dude. And like in a different place. Listen. I think we've gotten too comfortable with the idea that we know like all 4 billionaires, right? You're like, okay, well, I know, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. Okay, right? Like I know Mark Zuckerberg. Okay. The scary thing is that so much policy is controlled by a bunch of billionaires you've maybe never even heard of. And you've probably heard of Larry Ellison. That's not to say you haven't heard of this person, but not somebody that you think of as like, well, it's got to be one of the 3 that I think of. And that's like a comfort that we've gotten to where we think we know all the billionaires, you know? Because like nobody has talked about any of these other people buying it. All it is Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos.
Jimmy Beast.
Yes. Yes, there was a moment where people were talking about
Jimmy Beast,
Mr. Beast buying TikTok.
That's Jimmy Beast just knows how to take advantage of a moment for marketing.
Yes.
Jimmy Beast was like, I'll buy TikTok. And everybody's like, Jimmy Beast is going to use his chocolate money to buy a TikTok. Larry Ellison, just so y'all know, the last time Larry Ellison was in the news over the last couple of months, Larry Ellison said, in the future, we're going to use AI to power massive law enforcement surveillance networks. He says we're going to have supervision. AI will report problems and report it to the appropriate person. Citizens will be on their best behavior because we're going to be constantly recording and reporting everything that's going on.
Panopticon.
Yeah.
Oh, his idea was the Panopticon.
He just thought of the Panopticon. He invented it.
Oh.
He invented the Orwellian society.
Wow. He said, guys, I have an incredible idea. People will behave well if they assume they're being constantly surveilled. And I just thought of that.
That was me.
That was me.
Larry E. That's a Larry E joint right there. Hey. It's fucked that this is something that this dude went on record saying like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And now Trump is like, you know who'd be a great owner for TikTok?
Yeah.
You know who'd do a great job with all that data?
Yeah.
Little Larry E.
Yeah. Those who are by any chance not familiar, this is the Panopticon. Panopticon was a concept of a dystopian prison where there is a single guard tower in the center and all cells are constantly visible from it. And the idea is that you cannot see the jailer inside, but you never know if you are being watched. So although technically, sure, the prison guard could not be watching all of you at once, you never know if they're watching you at that moment. So you would behave differently because you are always afraid you are being watched and cannot confirm otherwise.
It also allows prisoners to always see other prisoners. And so prisoners who want favorable treatment are always in a place to tattle on other prisoners. The Panopticon's super dope.
Yeah.
You got to get yourself a Panopticon.
And the thing that would inherently drive you to insanity.
I just want to show, can I show a picture of Larry E?
Sure.
This man is just Hank Scorpio, supervillain.
Guys, that's
literally every villain.
You can't signal supervillain that hard.
You can't. They released a new Superman teaser, and I swear to God, Lex Luthor was wearing this outfit.
I'm pretty sure.
I swear to God, he was wearing the mock turtleneck and the gray.
This mustache,
dude.
This right here. Come on, it's too obvious.
That's Lawrence E.
It's on the nose.
That's Lawrence, baby.
It's a little on the nose, you guys.
So anyway, the fact that Trump just brought up Larry Ellison means a couple things. It means number one, Larry Ellison's been in there.
Yep.
And he hasn't been doing the photo ops like everybody else has been doing.
100%.
He didn't pull an RFK and was like, I'll eat a cheeseburger on the plane if you let me if you let me make sure the milk isn't pasteurized. Larry E just slid in there and was like, hey, billionaire to billionaire.
Yeah.
Trump is not a billionaire. Hey, billionaire to billionaire. Why don't you let me run this thing? I got you. You guys like us, we got to stick together, huh, buddy?
So he says that like 2 days ago, and immediately things start moving because the White House is now trying to put together a deal for Oracle to purchase TikTok. They say that ByteDance would retain a minority stake in the company, but the app's algorithm, data collection, and software updates would be overseen by Oracle. So that would mean that the American investors would own a majority stake in TikTok. Yeah, that's how we can describe it.
Mm-hmm.
They say the goal is for Oracle to effectively monitor and provide oversight with what is going on TikTok. ByteDance wouldn't completely go away, but it would minimize Chinese ownership.
Once again, all this is security theater, and the end goal is to get the money and the data back into American billionaire hands. We're not making all the money off of this. And by the we, I don't mean just America. I mean the five guys who run America. The Pentaveret. The Pentaveret.
This was an NPR article. And specifically, this quote said the person directly involved in the talks who was not authorized to speak publicly about the deliberations. Now, again, that's about the deliberations, but it sure does feel like you're saying, this is not anything. They're not supposed to be saying anything, but Dan, they do be talking for some reason. But NPR agreed to not name any of the sources who were speaking about this because they weren't supposed to be speaking about this.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the thing. People in the government don't really speak about things they're not actually supposed to speak about. They're doing it on purpose. Again, that's part of the security theater. Is like, I'm totally not supposed to tell you this. Definitely don't print it.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely don't put this out.
Oh, we've all seen an Aaron Sorkin television series. We know how it goes. They're walking down the hallway super quick. A third person comes up in the hallway. Starts walking in lockstep with them. Is like, we got a problem with these. We got a problem with this TikTok. I need you to leak this to the press.
Yeah, you know the like weird B-list celebrities that call the paparazzi on themselves?
Mm-hmm.
It's that. I feel like that's what's happening here.
Yeah, look, there's no sane way for this to end.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But the sanest way it could end is if the government just slowly stopped talking about this.
Truly.
Like just slowly stop talking about this.
Yeah.
Had this issue disappear for a little while.
Yeah.
You know, what they want to do is they want to Mangione this TikTok thing. Just Mangione the TikTok thing. Ah la la. You know what I mean?
So Oracle was hosted at the White House to have a meeting about this week. There is another one scheduled supposedly. Way back in 2020, there was a discussion to have Oracle and Walmart in collaboration take over TikTok. That fell apart.
Oh, Walmart presents TikTok I actually like. Walmart presents TikTok is the most dystopian, beautiful thing.
Nothing would kill an app faster,
dude,
than Walmart presents TikTok.
You wanna get rid of the relevance of TikTok?
Yeah.
You wanna make sure TikTok is not a problem for anyone anymore? Walmart presents TikTok.
Done. Easy. No problem. And of course, Donald Trump said, Larry is a friend of mine. I never spoke to Larry about TikTok. I've spoken to many people about TikTok. There's great interest in TikTok.
I didn't speak to him. I speak to people. I have spoken to people, not to him. We never said TikTok. I do talk about TikTok. I'm not ignoring TikTok.
Lots of people are interested.
Larry and I aren't talking about TikTok, but if we were, Larry would be a good guy for TikTok, but he didn't come over and he didn't tell me I was a good boy and scratch behind my ear. He did not do that. He would never do that, and I've never had that done to me.
I forgot to put this in the spreadsheet. Did you see the Gavin Newsom and Donald Trump little fight?
Yes. Yeah, I saw it.
Guys,
we don't like Gavin Newsom, but
sometimes we like individual actions of Gavin Newsom, and that's the thing about living in a state governed by Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom is somebody who is the most hit or miss of any politician I have ever seen.
He might be the closest to true neutral.
Because when he hits, he hits. And when he misses. And you never know what he's going to do. He's a complete roll of the dice. He's incredibly unpredictable. But damn, when he hits every once in a while, I'm like, fuck yeah, California, let's go. And then the next day, I'm like, please, dear God, what the fuck? So listen, if you didn't see it, Donald Trump popped off on Truth Social and was like talking all this shit at Gavin Newsom, essentially threatening California as a state. Okay. California immediately, once the election results came through, started enacting things to protect itself as a state from Donald Trump.
Yes.
Donald Trump is like, fuck you guys, I'm going to cut off your money. You need help right now because these fires choke.
Yeah.
Basically. Okay. In summary.
Yeah.
All right.
So Trump comes in, lands. They literally meet on the tarmac, and Donald Trump in his lifts.
His little lean.
His little lean that comes from wearing just the tallest lifts you've ever seen anybody wear. Starts talking to Gavin Newsom about all of these things, all of these conditions they're going to put on aid to California.
Well,
and you see Gavin Newsom immediately just standing up and being like, hey, reminder that we pay for just about every state.
Now, people couldn't hear the conversation that was actually being had here. But
No.
what we did see instead was Gavin Newsom waiting for Donald Trump when he landed, standing there at the tarmac. So as soon as him and Melania stepped off, he was right there, stepped up, shook his hand, and did Donald Trump's famous move where he
yank.
held onto it and pulled him in. You see Donald Trump try to pull away and he goes, no, and keeps talking real fucking close to him. You guys...
That's the best handling of the Trump handshake we've seen since, I believe it was the 2017 Trudeau handshake.
You guys, look, again, I know we can hate Gavin Newsom again tomorrow, okay? And we're gonna. And this is the inevitability of it. But on this day, damn right, I'm proud to be Californian.
Yeah.
Because that be fucking good.
The details of their meeting was released later, and it was it turned into obviously a much more political, cordial meeting. But the power play in the beginning was so hilarious. And whenever anybody tries to power play California, and this is one of the things that I love about living in California, is California goes, interesting.
Oh, that sure would be a bummer for your economy if you decided to power play California.
Interesting. So what will we do then when we decide not to pay into these programs anymore?
Yeah.
And what will you do to us?
Yeah.
What will happen to California, I wonder?
What do you think? And then one of my favorite things is that my favorite comment on TikTok was, and then Gavin Newsom did something Trump could never do, kiss Melania.
Mm-hmm.
Because the amount of times we have seen Donald Trump go in to try and kiss Melania, even on the cheek, and she goes,
yeah. She loves Gavin Newsom. But I think it's important that we also state that that's not Melania.
What?
Have you not heard this theory?
No.
That there's a replacement Melania because Melania won't go anywhere with Trump?
I have not heard this. Look at that.
Look at that.
Pulls him back in.
Look at that. Just that like, hey partner.
Yeah.
Hey champ.
Hey, pal.
Hey buddy. Let's just a little
Yeah.
reminder.
Yeah. Okay, ready?
Mwah. There was
And
a little.
she goes right in for it.
Yeah.
She loves it. Keeps walking with him. If you've ever seen a clip of Donald Trump trying to do exactly that to Melania, she just goes,
Just the in the chest, the like,
yep.
hey champ.
Yeah.
What do you think you're doing?
What do you think happens
Hey
here?
bucko.
Hey. Oh, so I just like the idea that he talked big online.
Mm-hmm.
He did the thing. And then he was like, okay, awesome. But I will see you in person, dude.
Yeah. I'll see you.
I can read what you say on the internet and see you in person.
I'll see you when I see you, bud. When the bell rings at 3:00, I'll see you outside. When you're on the way to the bus, maybe I'm there. I don't know. Maybe I'm there.